and potentially those that are from our future, by the way. If you really want to take what I understand now of how we're being assisted, and it's all part of a huge program of cooperation from our, from the cosmic family, if you like, to assist this species to grow up.
I totally get that. And probably you and I have the Galactic Federation as our board of directors. I have a cute little story for you. I have two sisters, two wonderful sisters, Jackie and Karen. And one of them, as I was a young child, my older sister, Karen, used to really be interested in UFOs and would talk about it and was really excited about it. And are they here and everything? And my younger sister, Jackie, would just laugh her head off at her. And the rest of the family would start to laugh. I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't my thing at that time. So I just kind of enjoyed the conversation and the laughter and the whole bit. And I'd watch Karen talk about it. And I have to tell you that just after my father passed away in 2003, my younger sister was at her home in Palm Desert with her family, her 3 children, in the jacuzzi with her husband, and they see a craft just sitting up there, no sound, no nothing, as big as a football field. And apparently this happened a couple of different times and then over the 405 freeway. And my younger sister went from laughing as a kid for years to, holy Toledos. Holy Toledos. We don't know what that was, but that was not normal. And they all then ran in the house after, I guess, however many minutes in the jacuzzi. But it's so funny. And then all of a sudden, my very conservative younger sister really registered it. And then everything was confirmed to my older sister. Now, it's funny, and I laugh just simply because I know the dynamics of my sisters. It's just funny how things happen at the right times for people to get access to something. At the end of the day, we're all going to end up scratching our heads, throwing our hands in the air and saying, we're not quite sure what's going on. I think we only have a little part of the picture, And if you love to learn and you're receptive, then this is fascinating. And if you feel like you have to control everything that's going on, then it's much harder to receive this kind of information. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think it's like joining the dots, and I always say the dots encompass the universe. What I would like to add from your wonderful story is that what people don't realize, and something that's come to light in the last year or two, is that when I was working with a 15-year-old young boy in England, who'd had, a very scary experience. But what was fascinating was he saw this craft land with the beings, and this is in hypnosis. And he says, I'm seeing some orbs of light. He said, oh, it's Granddad and Grandma. And he said, and Uncle Ted. And I I said, what do you mean? He said, the orbs. He said, the orbs of light with the ETs. And I said, well, why are they there? And he said, oh, they've come to let me know that I'm quite safe and I don't need to be frightened. They're here to support me. So he'd recognized the orbs of light with the ETs, but what was even more fascinating is when the ETs left, the orbs of light went onto the craft with the ETs. So what it's suggesting, and I've got other evidence to support that they are working in the dimensions of soul, and that this is a whole new aspect to the ET scenario that I'm now becoming familiar with, is that there's no separation. That in fact, we see it as a different thing entirely, and people who are clairvoyant think spirits and what have you are different to the ET thing. No, they're not. It's all part of this big picture, and that is exactly what my research is saying. So I'm not really surprised, to hear about the UFO after your father died.
Yeah, it was just interesting, and we were all sitting at a table for lunch, and my younger sister started to talk about it, and she was like, you're not going to believe this. But of course I accepted it, but it was really funny, very conservative. And I can't even explain to you like how the dynamics of each sister communicate themselves, but it happened that way because that's the opening. My older sister was supposed to get confirmation. My younger sister was supposed to be awakened and humbled and made clear to expand her horizon of what's happening. And I was supposed to enjoy the ride of this whole thing. I have to tell you, it was really funny to hear the story. And Eva, the woman who took care of our mother, who got Alzheimer's and passed away in 2008, She was at the table when Jackie, my younger sister, was telling the story, and she's a born-again Christian, but she accepts this whole realm. It's so interesting. So I think that the acceptance also really does have to do with many incarnations, many lifetimes, aside from coming into access to that under hypnosis. It's a very, very interesting time. Do you have any concern about what's happening on the world stage politically, with the banking system, with the food supply, with the air quality? Do you have any concerns for any of that? And do you feel that that is being managed from this extraterrestrial realm? Or do you feel like it really is left in our hands and the powers that be here are really worsening the situation where the extraterrestrial realm will have to intervene? Or none of it? What's your take?
Well, it was interesting because only recently I was in New Zealand where there was the earthquake in Christchurch. What was synchronous was that very morning, one of my clients was actually being shown some of the earth shifts and changes in an experience. And it was very, very emotional in terms of what was being shown. But what was fascinating was that after being shown that, they were shown also information that various hundreds of people now, hundreds of thousands of people on the craft, I mean, we're talking about sometimes going on to be shown certain things. And there was a package or a protocol that was given to each one of them that was watching this and being shown some of the earth changes, etc., which was actually showing how they are going to know how to manage it, how they new protocols. In other words, giving them their protocols for all the different things in different areas, from the social side to the ecology side to all the different disciplines. And these people were obviously in the right place at the right time to be able to put these together. So it seems like we've been given the tools ready for certain things to happen, which was a mind-blowing one for me, because it was, again, showing how, we're being assisted. They're not going to fix it for us. That's the one thing that keeps coming over and over again. We're here because we're on the ground. It's our journey. But we are being given the assistance, the tools, if you like, to help us to manage what will happen. And at the end of the day, I actually celebrate what will happen, not the pain and the suffering, of course not, but I celebrate the fact that we need to sort this planet out, and the only way to do it sometimes is through the school of hard knocks. It's tough love. It's how are we going to wake that person up? Sometimes they have to have their back against the wall before they actually start to realize what's important. And we've lost the plot on this planet. We really have. Look at what we celebrate. We are. It's money. It's power. It's greed. All those kinds of things are what rule this planet right now. It has to change, and we have to refocus. And the only way to do that is to give us a boot up the bum. And I think the earth is going to give us a boot up the bum. And I think also we're getting it from all levels. Everyone is going to have their own personal challenges with this to grow up and to realize what's important. So in a way, I celebrate that, tough as it is. It's like, you have to let the kids burn the custard to learn how to make the custard. And so, we're going to burn the custard first. But at the end of it, something very beautiful is going to happen. And I think that all these new souls that are coming in with their gifts from all these other planets, and this is what my research is showing me, they have the abilities, they have the gifts to help us through this transition. We know it's always darkest before the dawn, and we know that the dawn is going to be something beautiful, because it has to be, and it can only get better after what happens. And, we have to go through, the operation first, and it's painful, but eventually we will get well, and we will get well with a new earth and a new sense of what's important, with what I call the new human, because I think we're all going to wake up. I think we're waiting for the 100th monkey. When that happens, this is when this planet will really start to get on track. That's how I feel about it, you know. And so despite all the negativity that's about at the moment, all the turmoil, I mean, look at Christchurch, how people start to help one another, start to realize what's important. Yes, they've lost everything, many of them, but sometimes we have to lose everything before we realize what's important. And I think this is really what this is showing us. That's